We'll set it right, Pan. Just let them try to stop us.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movies that were brutally sabotaged by the studio.
And I was 30 and pregnant with twins by the time it came out.
The review.
Oh!
They hated it. They hated me.
Well, they can't hate you.
My pictures don't work at all unless they work my way. It's not because I think they're better that way. They simply fall apart.
For this list, we'll be looking at films that could have been great if it weren't for the reported meddling of those pesky studio execs. If we missed your favorite near masterpieces, let us know in the comments. Number 10, Iron Man 2.
As he does not operate within any definable branch of government, Iron Man presents a potential threat to the security of both the nation and to her interests.
The first Iron Man movie was so popular that fans were chomping at the bit for a second installment. But things got dicey about this sequel from the jump. Terrence Howard, who played James Rhodes in the first movie, decided not to return because of failed salary negotiations with Marvel Studios. Since the company also pushed filming to start without a finished screenplay, the writers had to scramble to keep up with the production schedule.
Hey, buddy. Didn't expect to see you here.
Look, it's me. I'm here to deal with it. Let's move on.
But the biggest snafu had to do with Mickey Rourke's villain Whiplash. Rourke claimed some of his character's beats were cut out of the film because the studio wanted a straightforward bad guy. When things are this messy behind the scenes, it's no surprise the resulting film is a letdown.
This is a gorgeous bird. I mean, you know, look, don't get so attached to things. Learn to let go.
Number 9, Hancock.
I see you out there today, and it can't feel good that people, hate you.
Will Smith playing a swashbuckling superhero with a drinking problem? Sounds great. Sign us up. But strangely enough, 2008's Hancock was received less than enthusiastically. A lot of that had to do with the film's messy 12-year production. In 1996, an original draft for the film was deemed too long and dark.
Not everything has to be bang, scream, blood, more blood, just destruction.
If script troubles weren't enough, Michael Mann, Jonathan Mostow, and Gabrielle Muccino each passed on the chance to direct due to schedule conflicts or creative differences with the studio. Eventually, Peter Berg was brought on to helm the project. As a final blow, an anxious Sony was worried about the film being R-rated, so the studio had the movie cut down to make it PG.
I apologize to the people of Los Angeles. My behavior has been improper and I accept the consequences.
Number 8, Margaret.
Haven't you ever been put in a new situation and found that after overcoming its difficulties, you had developed a new set of skills and new experiences along the way?
No, I really haven't.
You know a production got bad when the courts had to get involved. While Margaret was originally slated for a 2005 release, director Kenneth Lonergan only delivered his final cut in 2007. However, producer Gary Gilbert decided to create his own, shorter cut and refused to contribute his part of the budget for Lonergan's. This resulted in Searchlight Pictures suing Gilbert and the film being delayed for release.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble.
I know you're not, because you can't, because I didn't do anything wrong. All right, there was no criminality found.
When all was said and done, the production process involved 6 years of lawsuits, countersuits, and multiple edits. At one point, Martin Scorsese even tried to cut a version of the film. Although the suits finally wrapped up in 2014, the film will always be remembered for its post-production woes.
And I was 30 and pregnant with twins by the time it came out.
Number 7, Alien 3.
And of course, you expect me to accept all this on your word.
No, I don't expect anything.
The first 2 Alien movies are near masterpieces, so it goes without saying that there was a lot of anticipation for the third installment. Although several big names were attached to the film at some point, most of them left due to creative disputes with the studio.
I think it might be better if I left. I find you unpleasant to be around.
Enter a young upstart named David Fincher. Ever heard of him? Unfortunately, despite his talents, he still had to deal with an unfinished script and ballooning budget. Even after they got through filming, Fincher didn't like how the studio edited the film. The director hasn't been shy about his dislike for Alien 3's messy production. But if this disastrous process had to be the starting block for the rest of his movies, we're happy it exists.
The company sent me here to show you a friendly face, to demonstrate how important you are to us. To me.
Number 6, Superman 2.
I've got to try, damn it. I've got to try something. Anything.
It's not your fault. You didn't know this was gonna happen.
Production woes for The Man of Steel started way earlier than you might think. Both the first film and second were shot simultaneously over a grueling 19-month period. During this lengthy production, director Richard Donner clashed frequently with producers. When the studio cut Marlon Brando out of the second film without Donner's approval, the director took to the press. Donner's comments eventually got him fired. In response, members of the cast and crew left as a show of solidarity. This included Gene Hackman, who played Lex Luthor.
This is how it ends for the greatest criminal mind of our time. Not with a whimper, not with a bang.
Shooting his remaining scenes required a body double and a voice dub. Somehow, Superman 2 overcame its troubles and became a hit. But if you've seen the Richard Donner cut, you know what could have been.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't have anything to be sorry about.
Number 5. The Magnificent Ambersons.
So you mean I have nothing in particular?
Oh, that doesn't seem to be precisely what I meant.
This period drama had the potential to be Orson Welles' most beloved project. And to many film fans, it is a great movie. But Welles himself thought it could have been a lot better.
They may be a step backward in civilization. Maybe that they won't add to the beauty of the world or the life of men's souls.
His original cut of the film was lengthy and featured a bleak ending. After a few test audiences received it poorly, he tried to cut it down. But before production began, Welles gave up his control over the final version of the film in contract negotiations. This gave RKO the freedom to re-edit the film without the director and change the ending to something rosier. Welles had no choice but to sit back and let the studio cut it how they liked.
My pictures don't work at all unless they work my way. It's not because I think they're better that way. They simply fall apart unless they're done my way.
Number 4, Suicide Squad.
It's taken some work, but I finally have them. The worst of the worst.
If a studio tries to rush a production along, it can expect the resulting movie to be great. But that's exactly what happened with 2016's Suicide Squad. Right from the get-go, this villainous movie was plagued by production issues. David Ayer, who had never directed a superhero movie before, was barely given any time to finish the script.
The way it works is it's like a bunch of ships crossing the ocean together, and you get to be the captain of your own ship. You just gotta make sure you don't crash into anybody or sink it.
And when Batman vs. Superman premiered to lackluster reviews, Warner Bros. Execs grew more worried. They found Ayer's version of Suicide Squad too dark. So they decided to add levity by reshooting scenes and re-editing the film. The result was a movie with an uneven tone that was lambasted by critics and met with mixed responses from fans.
Well, we almost pulled it off, despite what everybody thought.
We weren't picked to succeed, you know that, right? We were all chosen to fail.
Number 3, Spider-Man 3.
I've come a long way from being the boy who was bit by a spider. Back then, nothing seemed to go right for me.
Sometimes less is more. That's definitely the case with Spider-Man 3. After Sam Raimi directed 2 successful Spider-Man films, this third one seemed poised to be a hit. But too many cooks in the kitchen, or rather too many villains in the movie, were its downfall.
The review.
Oh.
They hated it. They hated me.
Well, they can't hate you.
Originally, Raimi wanted Sandman to be the film's primary villain. The new antagonist storyline would tie into Harry Osborn's evolution into the Green Goblin. The Vulture would have also served as a side villain. However, studio producers convinced Raimi to include Venom while giving the villain a much larger role. What was the result? Too many storylines and not enough development. We won't even get into the emo Spidey dance. That happened? Number 2, Brazil.
Oh, what this is all about.
That is your receipt for your husband.
This might be one of the most infamous cases of studios changing a film as it travels overseas. The original cut of Terry Gilliam's dystopian, satirical science fiction film ran for 142 minutes and had a dark ending. This version of the film was shown in Europe.
Of course you want something. You must have hopes, wishes, dreams.
No, nothing.
But there were some issues bringing this version to the US. Since executives found the ending too bleak, they edited the film to have a happier finale. They originally planned to test both versions with audiences, but when Gilliam found out, he took matters into his own hands and screened his versions for critics without studio approval. It was so well received that Universal decided to let Gilliam supervise a slightly shorter edit, averting the full consequences of their sabotage.
Thanks, Lowry. You're a good man in a tight corner.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. 54. The studio requested substantial cuts. Event Horizon. Paramount wanted less violence and a shorter film.
Mr. Cooper says he saw something. I believe he saw something. I need an explanation.
All the Pretty Horses. After studio cuts, star Matt Damon became unhappy with the movie.
You think if we're gonna get out of this jackpot, we might better start thinking about how to get out of it together.
But the way we got in it?
The Golden Compass. The studio changed the ending and shortened the film.
We'll set it right, Pan. Just let them try to stop us.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Blade Runner.
You were made as well as we could make you, but not to last. The light that burns twice as bright burns half as long.
The level of drama behind the scenes of Blade Runner is nothing if not well documented. There were multiple rewrites of the script, the film was severely over budget, and director Ridley Scott didn't always get along with star Harrison Ford. But it was the studio who did the real damage to the US theatrical cut. Believing that the movie was confusing and slow, they had Ford record a voiceover narration for the film that explained the plot.
I need the old Blade Runner. I need your magic.
It was quit when I come in here, Brian. I'm twice as quit now.
Worse, they tacked on a happy ending that didn't fit the tone. Thank goodness that, a decade later, a director's cut was released, without the narration or happy ending. The belated release gave us one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time.
All those moments will be lost in time.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.